Hello everyone, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of the internet where I talk all things planners, fountain pens, and fountain pen inks. Today I have a purchase here from Atlas Stationers, and if you haven't heard already, I am now an affiliate with Atlas Stationers. So when you use my link for any of your purchases with Atlas below, obviously some exclusions apply, then you can help me and my little channel out here. So thank you to anyone and everyone who has ever used my link from before, but also continues to use my link now. One thing I will say is that I love the postcards that I get from Atlas. I love this one. I've actually always wanted this one. This is from by.blab, and I love that they use illustrations from local artists and things like that. And look, you even have the bean, which is like an ink bottle. I love that. And then the lovely thank you at the back. So here I am showing you my new pen. Now this is a pen that I didn't think that I would actually want, because I tried a slightly higher model of this particular pen and I was not necessarily blown away by it, but my tastes change over time, and also my taste in color changes as well over time. So I thought, you know what, why not give this a try and see if it will fit in my collection at all. So I have a Pilot here, and I say recently, but I've always loved Pilot nibs. I love the 18 karat Pilot nib in the Vanishing Point, but I really love the steel nibs that you find in the Pilot Kakuno. So I wanted to give this particular one a try, and this is a Pilot Custom 74, and this is in the green, and it has a fine nib. So it comes in this cardboard sleeve here, and then I did not open this the right way, and then you have this clamshell box basically showing the pen here. There we go. I love this green, and it really matches my nails, but this was not a color that I would have gone for a year ago or 2 years ago. But I don't know what's happening to my tastes now. I'm really liking this green. I love the sleek look of it. Now I'm wondering, do I keep the sticker on here or do I take it off? I can't decide. What would you do? Let me know down in the comments below. So let me move this here, but I also want to show you what's in the box. So you've got a cartridge that comes in here, as well as the use and care guide from Pilot. A lovely little box here. Nothing too crazy or heavy. And when I say heavy, let me put that back in here. It's not too heavy of a box, but also they use a cardboard sleeve, and I appreciate that. I'm also the type of person that keeps all of my boxes, and that is because I know me and my collection, and sometimes I do sell pens and I want to be able to send the original box along with that. Anyway, here we go with the Pilot Custom 74. Let's just take a look at the features here. So you've got that Pilot clip here with the ball, and that clip as well is a little stiff, but also not too bad. And then you've got the clear kind of grayish black finial, and then the transparent lid, goodness gracious, lid. And then you have the cap band that says Custom 74 Pilot, made in Japan. And then you can see the Con 70 converter in here, and then the finial as well. And then when we open that up, you've got the Pilot number 5 nib in the fine there. Let me see if I can bring that a little closer here. Lovely. So this is a 14 karat fine nib from Pilot. Gorgeous. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to compare it to other pens that I have in my collection, and I'll also compare it to other Pilots that I have in my collection, and then I'll do a quick writing sample and let you know all of my thoughts at the end. So here we have my Pilot Custom 74 in the green, and we'll compare it to other pens in my collection. So we'll first compare it to the Esterbrook Esty. We'll compare it to this Sailor, and this is the Pro Gear model, and then the Leonardo Memento Zero model. And then I'm also going to pull out H Wispy Eco. So you can tell in terms of sizing that it's actually in line with the Memento Zero, a little shorter than the SD, and definitely a little shorter than the Eco. So let's look at all of these uncapped. And when we look at these uncapped, you can definitely see the difference in size of the number 5 Pilot nib versus a Jovo number 6 nib, and even the nib on the Pro Gear. And when we look at the length uncapped, basically the body is actually a little bit longer than the SD, definitely longer than the Pro Gear size, and about the same size as the Memento Zero, but definitely shorter than the Eco. And then when I put it in my hand like this, it's quite a light pen. Now the section feels a little narrower than what I'm normally comfortable with. So that is the section of the Esterbrook SD, which is one of the most comfortable for me. And then the Pilot Custom 74 does look a little bit narrower, but let me look at the dimensions. So when we're looking at the diameter of the body, it is 12 millimeters, and then the diameter of the cap itself without the clip is 14 millimeters. Now, when I look specifically at the diameter of the grip, the diameter of the grip section is 9.7 millimeters. So it is a little bit narrower than I like to go. I like to have at least a minimum of 10 millimeters. And I know that doesn't sound like a huge difference, but for me, when it comes to gripping my pens, when I can start to feel my forefinger on my thumb like that, there is a difference with how the pen feels. So it is a little narrower than what I'm used to. And then the length of the body is 125 millimeters. And then the length of the cap as well is 66 millimeters. And then the nib itself, the length of the nib is 19 millimeters. So not very, very big. But then when we look at the length overall, when it's closed like this, the length of this is 143 millimeters or 5.6 inches. And then when we look at it posted, because you can post this pen, I wouldn't normally, but I don't normally post my pens. But if you post this pen, it actually does come out to 155 millimeters or 6.1 inches. So definitely a longer pen, but let's look and see if it feels a little back heavy. Okay, not too bad. It actually doesn't feel too back heavy. And when I look at the weight of the cap itself is 8 grams, and then the weight of the body is 14 grams. So when you put them together, it is 22 grams. And I feel like it is definitely a well-balanced pen. Now, I don't normally post my pens, but I feel like this one could definitely be comfortable. Now, the cap doesn't actually come across the perlicue of my hand here, so it wouldn't be at all, I say, annoying. And then when I look at where my forefinger and my thumb rest, the threads on this section here are not sharp at all, so I don't feel that whatsoever, and it actually makes for a very comfortable holding pen experience here. So far, my first impressions of this, just from holding it in my hand just like this, really comfortable, but again, we'll see how that would feel after a good long writing session. And I know that a lot of people who have tried the Pilot Custom 74 say this is a really great option as a first gold nib pen. I think Pilot just does their gold nibs so beautifully. And then speaking of Pilot nibs, actually, let me see. Okay, I'm trying to, there we go, just to make sure that the F lines up with the cap. I want to show you the other Pilot pens that I have in my collection. So along with the Pilot Custom 74, I do have my Pilot Vanishing Point. This has an 18 karat nib, and it came with a fine nib, but I purchased an extra fine nib from PenChalet actually, and that's what is in here. And then I put the fine nib of the Pilot actually on my Jinhao 20, and it's writing beautifully. And then the other Pilot pen that I have and absolutely love is the Pilot Kakuno, to the point where I have basically, let's just pull these all out here, the 5 of the Mataromi series, because why not? These are such great lower cost pens that are beautiful and write absolutely beautifully. So those are the Pilots that are currently in my collection. Now, one thing I do have to say is that I really like the 18 karat nib on the Pilot Vanishing Point. I really appreciate how smooth it is, but also there's a certain bounce to it as well, having just that bit more gold content than the Pilot Custom 74 nibs. But then I love the steel nib on a Pilot. So, you know, you can't go wrong with the steel nib on the Pilot as well. So those are the Pilots that I currently have in my collection, not counting the other 4 that I have of these. Let me know below what your thoughts are on Pilot. I have tried the Pilot E95S. I found that one wrote beautifully, but I found it a bit too narrow for my grip. So I'm hoping that with the Pilot Custom 74, it's definitely one that'll be a little bit more comfortable for my preferences. Well, that's going to get me as well, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to try and make sure. Oh yeah, trying to get the sticker to line up, because the amount of turns it takes there. Sticker should be like that. There, perfect. So the sticker should always be facing that way so that I can get the sticker to then line up with the cap, because it takes about 1.75 turns to undo the cap from the body. All right, so let's go through some of the inks that I have in my collection and figure out what would be a great match for this. So I have here my little personal size or A5 size ring binder, and I'm going to go straight to all of the greens here. Now, just as a note though, I may not have all of these. I basically started this, when did I start this? Maybe a couple years ago. And it's one where I try to keep track of all the different color families. So if we just go through these, regardless of whether or not I own them, we could find a match. All right, Ferris Wheel Press Spruce County Post. I don't have that ink anymore, but I think that would have matched it beautifully. And then Pilot Iroshizuku Shin Ryoku. I actually currently have this inked in my Franklin Christoph, and I don't know if that would match necessarily, but I like Ferris Wheel Press Spruce County Post. And then I don't think any of these would match necessarily. If I still have it, possibly Robert Oster, Sydney Darling Harbor. I feel like Diamine Sherwood Green is a little bit warmer than I'd like to go. Ooh, Rohrer and Klingner Deep Pine. I know that was a special edition and I no longer have it. I got that sample from a friend and finished it ages ago. No, nothing on here that I think would match. And nothing on this page that I think would match. Private, no, not Private Reserve Avocado. I feel like it's a little too yellow. I'm being really picky here. And then Robert Oster, Oklahoma City. Again, there's a little bit too much yellow in there. Vert Atlantide. Ooh. Now, would I put a shimmer ink in this? I probably would try a shimmer ink in this and see how it would do. Not Robert Oster Moss. But Vert Atlantide. It's beautiful. Lennon Toolbar Bird Monster. I like that one. And I know would also like that one. Diamine Canal Side would be lovely in that, I think. Yeah. See, I thought Peter Moss would be good, but no, Peter Moss just is leaning more towards the yellow-brown. Ooh, Diatramentis Jane Austen. Which one would be better, Diatramentis Edgar Allan Poe or Diatramentis Jane Austen? Both of those I think would be good. And these are some new ones that I've swatched. Thankful to my pen friend who sent me 26 ink samples for greens to try out. Ooh, no, not Lamy Peridot. And I apologize for calling it Peridot. Oh, Pelican Edelstein Olivine might actually be a good one there. Ooh, good option. Let's see if any teals would work. I don't think so. I feel like some of the teals that I have in here are too blue. Ooh, I'm in the blue section, that's why. So let's see. No, not Sio, Row, or any of these. Yeah, I feel like teal waistband almost is like a lighter version of the forest green on this pen here. So, okay, let's go back to greens. I think either Jane Austen or Edgar Allan Poe, but I also kind of want to try like Diamine, no, not Diamine Canal Side. What was the first one that I saw? Which I don't have. you get to see this here. Yeah, Spruce County Post would have probably been the perfect one, but I think out of all of them, let's go with, oh, Pelican Edelstein Olivine. Let's do a quick writing sample with that. All right, here we go. I have my Hobonichi A5 notebook with 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. This stamp is from Everyday Explorers Co. and it's from their new Pen Day collection. So I've just done a quick dip test in, what am I using now? Pelican Edelstein Olivine. Oh my goodness. So the brand is Pilot already. That smooth, buttery smooth Pilot nib, and this is the custom 74, and it's a 14 karat fine. I love it already. And this is forest green, and this is inked with Pelican Edelstein Olivine. Oh, I'm loving the way that's writing so far. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And let's just take a look at this nib again, because I love when brands just do designs on the nib. It's so intricate and beautiful. My first impressions of this pen are that I love the smooth 14K fine nib. It has a crisp yet wet fine line. This pen feels really good in the hand and not too back heavy when posted. I do love how this nib writes, and I am actually tempted to try a 14 karat extra fine in the future. I think this would be a fantastic first gold nib pen for anyone to try. So there we go, my newest pen. It is the Pilot Custom 74 in the forest green, and I really feel like my nails do match. I didn't mean for that to happen, but I'm so glad that I did get them to match. Now, I know this was a first impression or unboxing video, and some of you don't like unboxing videos because I haven't really had a chance to test out the pen. But my first impressions, I'm really loving this, and I think that this will be one that I would happily have in my collection for years to come. I can't wait to ink this up for the month of July, and actually in July I'll be doing a lot of traveling, so this will be coming with me as well. So basically, just as an overall conclusion, the Pilot Custom 74 I purchased from Atlas Stationers, and in terms of the price point, like the price point is actually not too bad. And when I say that, I know that the prices of fountain pens compared to most things in life are definitely higher. But for a gold nib pen, this is currently on Atlas's site for $216. And they come in the nib sizes of extra fine, fine, medium, and broad. And they do come in a variety of colors as well. So you've got, you know, colors like bluestone or grenadine, or even the Merlot, and they even have a clear, but they also have special editions that come out. So for example, that lavender fog that came out earlier this year, I'm surprised I didn't actually go for that, but I don't know, the colors that I am liking right now, I'm leaning to more the greens, which is a surprise even to me. So I'm definitely going to be using this in July and then letting you know my thoughts on that as well. All right, but that is it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions about this pen or any thoughts on this pen as well, let me know down in the comments below. But as a reminder, again, if you are interested in something like this or from purchasing from Atlas, I do have an affiliate link down in the description below. Thank you again so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.